recorded, and I wanted to start off by welcoming one and all to our Brands for Good Emerge Stronger series. Brands for Good is a campaign that we've been supporting for the last 2 years, together with Maybank and 01, who are our sponsors for the event. It is a campaign to celebrate impact businesses. That basically, this is a screenshot of our website, and for those of you who do not know about Brands for Good, do visit our website to learn more. It's at brandsforgood.asia. We have our chairman Alan, who will share a little bit more about the campaign this year, as well as a little bit of what we're trying to do with the campaign. But before we begin, I like to sort of thank two of our sponsors and two of our key sponsors for Brands for Good. That is Maybank and 01. And of course, being our sponsors, we've sort of given them a little bit of airtime to share with us a little bit about themselves, so that for the event. So over to Elena from Maybank.
Thank you, Glenn.
Maybe I stop share.
Yep. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for taking your time this afternoon to be here. Okay. My name is Elena. I'm from Maybank, and I'm with the bank for the past 16 years. Yeah. So this relationship that Maybank has with Brands for Good has been ongoing for the past 3 years. Okay, this is our 3rd year together. Okay, and this partnership, right, is very in line with Maybank objective of humanizing financial services. Okay, so Maybank is a little bit koyok about Maybank. Maybank has been in Singapore for the past 60 years. This year we celebrate our 60 years anniversary, and we are actually, okay, in the past, you may remember us as Malayan Banking Berhad, but in 2018 November itself, Maybank has incorporated into Singapore. So now we are actually a local bank as per se. So over at Maybank Group itself, right, we actually represent, Maybank Singapore actually represents the largest overseas operations. Okay, and we have a total assets of 76.5 billion in Sing dollar as at end of 31st December. And as mentioned, we have been in Singapore since 1960 with 27 servicing locations in Singapore as a qualifying full bank, and 2,000 Maybanker here to assist you in your financing needs, be it in SMEs needs or in your mass personal retail products needs. Okay, and over at SMEs banking itself, right? Myself, I have 4 teams of SME bankers that will be able to assist the SMEs, okay, like you're here, okay, in your financing needs. So my 4 teams, today I have actually 2 of my others, my 2 team heads are here. So they are April and Jeff. So later in the breakout rooms, if you do have any questions, you can also approach these 2. Okay, then in terms of the current situations, okay, COVID-19 situations, I guess cash flows will be the main things that SMEs that you are looking at right now. Okay, so we are also in line with the government objective, okay, and also our missions. We have all the relief packages that are in store for all SME targets. The common one that for immediate cash flow will be the working capital loans and the temporarily bridging loans. Then there are, of course, others, which is for trade facility, loan insurance scheme, trade facilities. And the other one, which is slightly different from the market, is our commercial property, because the commercial property relief in the industry is basically deferring just the principal. So right now, you know that for the working capital loan, for the temporarily bridging loans that we are giving, right, all this counts with deferment of principal repayment for 1 year. Okay, but for the commercial property loans, if you have any with Maybank, be it a commercial property loans or a residential property loans that you have with Maybank, we are actually offering not just deferment of the principal, but we are offering deferment of principal and interest up to the 31st of December 2020. So these are the various relief packages right now to help all the SMEs case. So let us know if you do have any questions pertaining to that. Okay, with that, I stop my intro on Maybank. Glenn, pass it back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Lina. So our other sponsor, of course, being not only Maybank, is 01, and today we have Evelyn from 01, who will be sort of sharing with us a little bit about 01. Evelyn, are you ready?
Yes.
Yes. Cool, right?
Hey.
They don't
Can
Evelyn
see?
sharing for the yes, we can.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm Evelyn. I'm from the marketing team in 01. This is the second year we are with Brands for Good. I think the experience has been amazing. I think we're here to know more people, to network with more people. And of course, for 01, we like to do things differently. And we think that Brands for Good is one good platform where we can do things differently. You know, whether it's CSR or social enterprise. I think we're here to see what kind of collaboration as well with all the like-minded people who are listening to us right now. Okay, maybe let me share. Some of you may not know who 01 is. We actually started only in 2018. So we are the first to launch a unlimited data plan in 2018. So our most popular plan right now is actually, imagine $9.90 for an unlimited data plan. Okay, basically, to make things simple, we only have 2 plans. Along the way, we have a couple of plans, but to make things simple, now we have only 2 plans. One would be the 1 GB to unlimited. The other would be 30U, which is a 30 GB unlimited plan. So that it's very simple. If you are light user, you go for 1 GB plan. If you are heavy data user, you can go for the 30U plan. Okay, I won't say much about the rest. Just want to share with you how usable the 1 GB unlimited data plan is. This is something that we also do internally. We do our Zoom meeting. We had a town hall with almost 30 people. And this is done using our 1 GB data plan. We tether to the laptop and we're able to, you know, host and organize 30 packs Zoom meeting. So that is how usable our 1 GB to unlimited data plan is. And with our unlimited plan, we also, you know, it's as good as telling you to say goodbye to your Wi-Fi because you don't need a Wi-Fi. You can do your live streaming with unlimited data. You, most importantly, your bill, you're staring at only a $990 bill for unlimited data plan. So that's what very much what 01 is all about. Also for today, we are giving free trial. So like you see in my previous slides, you have to use it to believe that it is usable at $990. So we are giving all our Brands for Good participants a free trial. If you're interested in a free trial, you can just email us. The email is right at the bottom, cis@01.sg. All right, so I think that's about it.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, for those of you who don't know, 01 is a telco, right? She didn't introduce herself. Yeah. So yeah, 01 is a telco, and they provide unlimited. They were the ones who sort of break the barrier for our low data costs right now. Okay. So without further ado, then I would now like to pass the screen on. See, now we say pass, no more passing the mic already. They pass the screen on to our chairman for Brands for Good, Alan. Evelyn, I think you need to stop your sharing your screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. To pass the screen on to Alan, for our chair for Brands for Good, to share a little bit about Brands for Good. Alan.
Okay, thank you, Glenn. Anyway, as I'm also setting up, I like to share that currently my whole family and my brother's whole family are all using 01. And we are very happy customer. In fact, to be honest with you, I didn't use 01 immediately because my nephew was telling me the early stages, right? There was some issue. And so after he swapped, you know, he switched everything and was telling me that now everything is working very fine. Then I switched.
Okay. Yeah, 990.
Yeah. I very happy customer of 01 now. Okay, let me get my screen up. And okay, for those of you who have joined our sessions before, right? This may be a repetition of what we're sharing, but if you don't mind, just be patient with us. Give us the privilege to share information about Brands for Good for those who are hearing this for the first time. All right, and so this really represents our passion, our purpose of driving this whole community, and also the reason why in partnering with ASEAN CSR Network, we are also taking this message out to ASEAN countries. So I'm also quite glad that we do have a few very supportive partners. All right, in fact, this morning I was just talking to some contacts in Philippines, and I think we may soon see a Filipino community joining us on board as well. And I think once we are able to crack open to some of our neighboring countries, and the number of SMEs they have there is definitely a lot more than we have here in Singapore. Okay, so so in Brands for Good, again, welcome to our Emerge Stronger series. All right, so this is our sixth series. We started the first one on the 22nd of April. Okay, my presentation overview, I'd like to share with you the people behind Brands for Good, how we started in 2018, 2019, and what we have for 2020 this year. And of course, I'd like to give you reasons why you should be part of us. So this is the picture we took recently when we had an event with Minister Josephine Teo as the Manpower Minister. She sort of gave us some insight to how businesses can leverage on some of the activities and some of the manpower related grants. So let me start with this slide. So we started as an event organized by IPOS Society, which is affiliated with IPOS, and IIPCC, which is the International IP Commercialization Council. It is headquartered in Hong Kong, and the Singapore chapter was started new. All right, so of course, I founded IPOS Society, and I'm also involved in IIPCC. So being a non-profit organization and just being a volunteer, right? So we don't really make money out of this. This is our sort of a give back to society. So, and then when I met Glenn in 2017, he was then started the Brands for Good movement on his own. So we decided, why don't we just put all this together, all right, and share resources and run it together. And then we met Maybank, who very kindly came in as a sponsor. And then later on, 01 also came in as a sponsor. So below, so there are 3 smaller sponsors. And that's how, it gave birth. And 2019, right, we partner ASEAN CSR Network. So we try to take this also to the ASEAN community. All right, then, so inside there, you see CCA is also based out of Hong Kong. So they are an expert in carbon care sustainability issues. Right? Then we also have, all right, as you can see here, members, chambers, other society, right? So this mainly are our marketing partner, right? When we do various marketing events. And here also we want to recognize our 15 judges. They are all also voluntary, but they all represent institutions, all right? So to avoid conflict of interest, we make sure our judges, they come in from an institution perspective. So some are from certain associations or representing chambers or some think tanks, right? So you may recognize some of them. So they are the one who sort of meet on their own, and separately they go through all the nomination submissions that come to us, all right? And they are the one who determines the winner. Now in 2018, that's when we started Brands for Good, our first award event, right? 2019 is the second one. We have our coffee table booklet. So if you like to have a copy, please reach out to us. We also have our video information, right? They're all on YouTube that captures the moments of our gala dinner in 2018, 2019. And then last year, we also did a tribute, right, to all the winners. We compiled a nice musical called One Voice, all right? Please take a look. We also have a LinkedIn page, so please join us and like us or follow us here, all right? Okay, now I come to this part. I like to share with you why we do what we are doing. All right, in Brands for Good, we come together as a how should I say that? As a tribe, right? We want to champion the cause, all right, to inspire every business to become a purposeful brand. Because we believe, although SME may be small alone, right, but in most economy, and I think in many developing countries, SME, or if you can include their micro, is MSME, they can make up 99% of the economy. And although they are small on its own, but coming together, they are quite a force to be reckoned with, right? And so our message here is basically telling them that every business, all right, can be a purposeful brand. And how to be purposeful, right? Because your mandate, your business model can actually include, all right, make positive impact, make what we call ESG, environment, social, and governance, as a core part of your business. All right, so that's what we're trying to champion. So in 2019, together with ASEAN CSR, now we want to build an ASEAN-wide community, right? And then once a year, we want to organize a massive event so that all our members, our partners can come together to network, to celebrate, and most importantly is to rekindle, to remind us of this common vision that we want to drive together. All right. So here are some business-centric information, right, to tell you that this is really the rise. All right, Deloitte calls it the rise of social enterprise. Right, increasingly, I think people are beginning to realize that the social problems and environmental problems are not just problems for governments or NGOs or the big corporates to solve. All right, because they together also cannot solve. And in fact, SMEs, as I said earlier, right, make up the majority of an economy. And if all of us do our small part, I think this is where we can drive real impact, right? And it's becoming a great, with this greater awareness, I think more and more enterprises are beginning to embrace this message or beginning to embrace this strategy, right? And Forbes calls it the new paradigm for business. It is really an opportunity for you to recreate a business, especially in the light of our COVID-19, right? It's an opportunity to recreate your business proposition, your business strategy, right? And Harvard Business Review in October 2019, right? They shared about how 8 years ago, they launched a global study into high growth companies, right? They want to investigate the importance of 3 strategies: creating new markets, serving broader stakeholder needs, and changing the rule of the games. And then they share how surprising they found out that the 4th driver, which they didn't even, they were not even aware, but they realized that it is actually the 4th driver of all this high growth business, all right? And this 4th driver is called purpose, all right? And Singularity University call it what? MTP, a massive transformative purpose. So that's what we stand for, right? We want to go out with this message to help SMEs or even micro enterprises understand this reality, right? So that they can be relevant, they can also embrace this strategy. So this is our 3 focus, right? Our mandate, our vision statement. Number 2, the ASEAN community we want to build, and number 3, the mega event that we will organize every year. All right. So that mega event actually we did last year, 2018, 2019. Of course, 2020 because of COVID, all right, we may have to postpone it a bit. All right. So now we are targeting September, perhaps to do this on an online basis. And then 2021, Invention Convention has already told us that they want to move their event to 2021, all right, in July. So, but now we have this sort of 3 partners, right? We will do the events together. So for the conference, right, we call it the ASEAN CSR conference. We have also spoken to NUS, all right? They have done quite many research, all right? They will particularly use a piece of research in the area of blockchain and technology to show how this new technology can also impact society or have positive impact. All right, and so the conference is, of course, like every conference, right? Like we will bring in many thought leaders, panel, breakout sessions. All right, we'll do that. Then concurrently on the site, we want to run Invention Convention, which is an event founded by Henry Ford Foundation, and then they bought over Henry Ford Museum. So they have been running this many years, right? So the first time they are taking it out of US to hold it in Singapore. And we're quite glad that, they have picked us as their co-organizer. So it was planned for this year, but anyway, we have no choice but to move it to next year, right? And then, of course, our Brands for Good, we will continue to do our award event, our gala dinner. And, we want, because our award really is to recognize the creative business model that some of our social enterprises or our businesses, right, has been able to incorporate, right, what some call the triple bottom line, right? That means do a business model that impact the environment positively, impact society positively, and yet being profitable, right? So these are the kind of business model we look at or we look for, and we want to help them gain their brand presence or gain their brand prominence. And so we tie up with many media platforms, right? Like Business Times, who gives us very good coverage. And we also have our own online platform, right, called Business Time /hub, where we put all our winners' information there. And then wherever we have opportunity, we will profile our winners and sometimes also our nominees, right? So these are the 5 categories of award that we are pursuing now: your business model, the role of leadership, all right? Capital for good, because we also want to encourage many capital company, all right? Today we have True Gem Capital through Jeremy. These are people who believe that they will put money into businesses that has got that good element as well, right? Design for good and technology for good. So that's the 5 category, all right? And here, for people who become part of our community, these are the 8 things we will do for them, right? We help them with financing. So Maybank is one big partner, but we also have the others who actually also become our winner, who join us as our in our community, right? Like Funding Society and some other funding organization. And we are also quite well informed with government grants. So for any of you who needs help, right, we are happy to give you some guidance. And then market access. Last session we talked about Cambodia. So through our partnership with ASEAN CSR, we actually have very good access into the ASEAN market. All right, and then the community support is that's what we are doing through this Emerge Stronger series, where we bring thought leaders, people who have certain expertise to come and share their insight with the community. We have also moved to a new building called BOP Hub. All right, for those of you who are familiar with Jack Sim, that's his office. All right, so we are also working with him in championing, all right, our own purpose. And we also like to organize more and more interest group, right, to pursue different interests simultaneously. We also tie up with many training organizations, right, to get more and more privileges for our members, all right, so that they can attend the training at very good prices, or sometimes even free. It's not even, you can even make money by attending training, all right? And then I think one of the sessions we had Jason Lowe from Peace Future sharing with us, technology opportunity from Panasonic, Nomura, Nokia, so there are a lot of patents available and they're seeking commercial partners, all right? So these are opportunities, right? And again, the last part is about brand awareness. So as our name implies, brands for good, right? We want to help you build your branding, right? So I think that's one area we can really do well to help you. So these are some of the activities we did previously, all right? And that's and we also try to engage with policy makers, all right, to help you, all right, to help you understand what we do, or what the policy makers are thinking of. So that's all the slides I have. Nomination is open, so please go to our website, and you are most welcome to join us. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Alan. And so we can't clap here, right? So unfortunately, that's but so I'm going to so thank you, Alan, for sharing a little bit about Brands for Good. I also want to sort of do a shout out to everyone again to remind those of you who came in a bit later. This is our WhatsApp chat group. Any of the slides that you share today and see today, and then later on by Jeremy and Yabun, we will be circulating the slides into the WhatsApp chat group. So if you want to get materials, please join the chat group. They are available on the link in the chat on the Zoom, or if you want to scan the QR code on screen, you can scan it and then join the group. Don't worry, we won't feel offended if you leave the chat group just to get the materials. Go in, get the materials, get out. That's fine. But we hope, of course, you can stay on, because that we use the chat group to also update everyone on our campaigns and our Emerge Stronger programs. As Alan was sharing, we do this regularly. And in the beginning, I was sharing as well. Emerge Stronger is our way of pivoting as well of our info sessions for Brands for Good. And that's where we started running this program to align ourselves with our SMEs and help them to not only weather the current COVID, but to get out of this better, right? And to emerge stronger. And then hence the reason why our team for this campaign is now Emerge Stronger. Next week, I will be taking the chance to actually share with you a little bit about why businesses should be doing good. And I have the privilege of having two of our champions of Brands for Good joining us. That will be Pamela from Better Group, and I think you may know her from Better Barista. And the other one is Kun Singh from Ostropo. Now, we couldn't have two very diverse business coming together next week. Pamela is a B2C business, and she creates coffee, right? And she has a training, and she's also doing B2B. She's supplying coffee beans, but she's also she's enabling the diversity in terms of hiring disadvantaged individuals for the group, and she's been doing a fantastic job doing that. While Ostropo, on the other hand, is actually a listed company, now currently a listed company. When we met them, they weren't listed, and I think Brands for Good helped sort of nudge a little bit, I hope, for them to have been part of that journey with them, and they are now currently listed on the Australian Stock Exchange. They do 3D printing of bones. It's a very high-tech business. They're based in Singapore, founded by an NUS professor. And these are two very different businesses, and we wanted to juxtapose these two different ideas of how you can still do good in two different areas. So do come and join us next week, and we'll be quite excited. Again, you can join the WhatsApp chat group. We will post the details later. Or you can go online. It's at brandsforgood.asia/emerge stronger. It's not difficult to remember. /emerge stronger is one word. The case is not sensitive. And you can join any of our events. We've got a lined up, and we've got a stellar lineup of content over the next 2 months up to the end of July. We are planning to do this till the end of the year. So our commitment to the businesses here is that we are here to see through this with you, and then to help arm you with the content and that you need to grow your business stronger, and also to create the networks for you to grow stronger. So that's what we are trying to do, and we will push you, and we will help bring that together. This week, of course, we've had the privilege of having Jeremy and Yao Boon sharing on critical thinking is the new norm. Now, I'm going to start with Yao Boon because Jeremy has always been the first face on our marketing material. So I think this time around, and because Yao Boon is starting, I will talk about Yao Boon. Yao Boon is from Lim and Lodges, right? And he's a consultant in disruptive management, right? So and I would like to take this time to sort of share with you that he's a trainer with an adjunct lecturer at SIM. He's been around the block basically in terms of consulting as a management consultant, and we sort of paired him nicely with Jeremy, who is from TrueGem, and he actually runs two businesses. One is TrueGem, which is a VC. They do investments in businesses, as well as he's also the founder for Critical Thinking Academy, which is a company set up to teach Critical Academy with a professor in SMU. But anyway, I won't go too much into it, and let them share a little bit more about it as we go ahead. So again, over to you, Yao Boon. Are you there and ready?
Yes, I am. Just give me a second. Let me just share the.
Yay, wonderful. Right. So as Yao Boon set up his screen and then puts up his slides, I'd like to remind anyone that if you have questions that you may have, please hang on to them. You can post them onto the chat in the Zoom chat, or we will have a Q&A sessions. We encourage people to voice out your questions because it's a bit more real, right? And hope that you can be more interactive during the Q&A sessions as well. Thanks, guys. Yao Boon, all yours.
Thank you. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Good. So thank you. Good afternoon to everybody. I've not met most of you, so it's good to meet virtually. Thank you for having me, Brands for Good, to share some thoughts together with Jeremy on what's the situation right now with COVID-19 and perhaps what we can do individually, as an organization, or as a community. I started writing on COVID-19 somewhere in January 2020, which is, the title was Disruption from Nowhere. That was when Wuhan was about to lock down, and I kind of assessed the situation and said, well, this is quite serious. That was way before WHO declared as a pandemic, right? And that was before the world experienced the devastating power of this virus. So the truth is that I rewrote the article several times to keep pace. By the time I could actually post it out, it was really March, right? Because my content keep getting updated, you know, and I just have to watch. I cannot write something that the next day, all right, people say that it's already gone. So only in March, when there was some stability and some understanding, then I posted the article. Because things were moving at such exponential speed, and it was really hard to grasp, you know, the scale of what's happening. So 4 months later today, the truth is that most of us still really don't know what's happening. So, but I think we need a new thinking approach, and that's why to manage this new norm. So that's why today, Jeremy and I, we just started to share one of the approaches, which is critical thinking. So before that, perhaps we can have a look at what is the new norm. Let me see whether the slide is responding. Yeah, so the new norm, do we know or we don't? This is a big question, all right? Some experts will tell you that this is the new norm going to be like. Some people who are more realistic will say we actually don't know what is the new norm. Okay, so I think what we do know is that the world after COVID-19 is going to be like that. If you agree with me, type yes. If you don't agree with me, type no. Right? So the world after COVID-19 is going to be like that. Back to where we were. So some say yes, most say no, yes, no. So there's a variance of yes and no. All right. Now let me share a bit more about my thoughts later about this kind of situation. It's going to be driven by a few factors, what the world's going to be like. The other thing is that shocks like this, yep, would it be the world after COVID-19? You know, will we continue to do the same? Question. Meetings like this, conference room, big tables, nice real estate, whereby we come together and meet, all right, will it be like this, the world after COVID-19? Question mark, yep, let's reserve that for thinking. Lectures, all right, as mentioned, I teach at SIM, and I was given 1 week notice to change my course online, and it was difficult because my course was not designed for online purposes. A lot of engagement in the class, a 3-hour class, right? It's difficult to conduct online. It's not a half an hour discussion. But what's going to happen is that things like this, all right, after COVID-19, question mark. Yep. And events like this is probably going to be very long before we see anything. So that's the reason why we're having this discussion, this seminar in this format, because all these conferences will change. Even in Singapore, after phase 3, all right, we might not see this happening. When will it happen? We will think about it. Now, another interesting view is there'll be events like this, music concert. Okay, will it happen again after COVID-19? Most of us say yes, of course. We all want to attend a live concert, but you don't know what's happening now with those organizers at the moment, those entertainers. There's only that much they can give free online entertainment. After that, they still have to make money. Would the world look like this after COVID-19? Probably yes, because last week when US opened up, you know, the beaches were flooded with people. All right, and these are things that you can't replace the beach at home. You can't replace the sun at home. So this will probably happen after COVID-19. The problem is that where this thing happened too fast, like what happened is, what's happening in America right now, where the swimming pools are filled with people, it just prolonged exactly the term, when is after COVID-19. Behaviors like this will be difficult to manage, right? And for most of us, or some of us who are soccer fans, this is not replaceable. As much as you can, I mean, in Singapore, we watch on the TV, right? But back in Europe, all right, this is how they were consumed, because the soccer players not going to play in an empty stadium for the next 3-4 years. So what will happen for the world, for us, after COVID-19 is a question mark. What we do know is that the world will be different. It will be beyond empty streets, for sure. Empty streets is something that's happening right now, but it will be beyond empty streets. Okay? How different, we actually don't know. I've got some friends that dial in, and we had some discussion before and said that, you know, we don't know. For anyone to say that we know what's going to be exactly like, it's actually a lot of assumption. But let's go down the path that actually we don't know. But what do we know? Why don't we know exactly when? Because a combination of factors. The first one is how we're containing the whole virus, right? All these social distancing measures, companies, states, where they're going to reopen, is there going to be a second wave? These things we don't know. There are just too many permutations inside here on when Malaysia or India or whichever country will reopen their economies, their businesses, who's going to open first, all these things. There are so many combinations in there. That alone is just very difficult to estimate. Second thing is the economic response by every government, both the fiscal policy and the monetary policy. Different countries are issuing different policy. Most of them are just to prop up the situation, right? And but something's going to happen along the way. But one thing is very sure, everybody has different way of responding. The emerging countries will have a different ability compared to those more established to handle the whole situation. The last, of course, is the vaccine and drug availability. All right, it is to discover it, test it, produce, and distribute. All right. So these are three of the major dependency, I call it, that give us a very uncertain understanding where and when all these things are going to happen. Because all this has ramifications and the downstream effect to happen to all of us. So let's talk about the vaccine. All right. One thing we're all very sure, it's not anytime soon. So the government said phase 3 will continue until vaccine is available. So therefore, Singapore alone, all right, is dependent on the vaccine availability or drugs availability. And I don't think we're going to push for herd immunity too fast. Maybe it will happen. But essentially, phase 3, which will happen in a few months' time, will continue in certain shape and form, which unlikely for us to have big stadium gathering, big events. We're all dependent on the availability of the vaccine. So these are the numbers that you need to take note of, right? So for you to kind of establish a bit of a sanity and all these numbers. Now, average a vaccine to be safe and distributed globally is about 10 years. The fastest ever was 4 years, was for mumps. Mumps in 1967. Okay, so that's the average and that's the fastest. So 100 are all the vaccine programs, more than 100 vaccine programs happening right now, of which only 8 has gone to clinical trial, phase 1 clinical trial. There are altogether 3 phases in a clinical trial. All right, phase 1, before phase 1 will be animals. After that, on human beings, less than 10, then there'll be another 20, 50, then it goes to 100, right? Before they can distribute to billions. So 100 vaccine programs happening, 8 of them on clinical trial. There's some result last week or 2 weeks ago. So things are happening. But even if they discover anything, the trials have to take place. The expert, even those who are developing or trying to develop a vaccine, will say that it's between 12 to 18 months before the vaccine is available for everyone. So based on this scenario, we know that it's not going to be anytime soon for all of us. So that's a very important thing to remember, yeah? So while we don't know a lot of things, there are some things that we do know. And this is what I would like to share with all of us here to kind of remember what we will know for sure, all right? Is there going to be economic tsunami? Perhaps, okay? Something's going to happen to us. And let me just share at a global level what we know. First thing, all right, for certain, for sure, there'll be debt and unemployment. There'll be a huge fiscal deficit. That means the countries will be putting up more money to support than they actually can take in. So it's a huge, large fiscal deficit. Second thing that we know that companies at the business level and individuals, all right, are having defaults. The private debt is also going up and there's defaults happening. So last week, Hertz, all right, filed for bankruptcy. And we're going to see a lot more of these companies that we're familiar with. Airlines for sure. You just take them one by one, right, filing for bankruptcy. In fact, I just saw Singapore Airlines trying to issue rights to kind of get some funds to run. But it's going to be tough. So that's defaulting. Default will fracture the financial system. Then the other thing is for sure is the rise in unemployment. Yep. US last week alone had about 2.5 million people out of job just last week. From the lockdown to last week, about 38 million Americans out of job. Imagine how much 38 people can buy. If everybody spent $100, if everybody spent $1 a day, it's 38 million off the economy. Spend $10, it's $38 million off the economy. If the 38 million people, everybody drink a Starbucks a day, $5, that's 38 million Starbucks that Starbucks cannot sell in the near future. This number keep rising. In China, I see figures like 80 million Chinese were displaced in terms of employment, all right, since the COVID-19. So this is one thing that's happening. That's an impact on us, right, for this one. Second thing is what I call probable. Interest and tax, all right? Interest will likely stay low because it's part of your monetary policy, right? Because you want to encourage spending. But tax will have to go up because that's only the main way to fund the large deficit. So the more will have to pay more. The richer, those that are making money, have to pay more. But there's no choice. We just have to work. We just have to be part of the system so that the economy can go back to somewhere near where we were before. The third thing is what I call the high possibility, the geopolitics and the trade. So there's increased tension now. There's already bad tension between China and US. We all know that. It's going to be worse, right? And this rise in protectionism is beyond US and China. That the EU is also having a lot of issues right now, all right? Should we be using each other's labor? Should we be producing each other's country? All this will create a significant impact on the global trade. What I call trade deglobalization, all right? And that has this particular one, the drop in the global trade has a huge impact on us in Singapore. Because we are one of the top 5 global trade over GDP ratio. We are very dependent on global trade. If there's a drop in global trade, all right, we will feel it. We haven't felt it yet, all right, it's going to come. So according to The Economist, the magazine The Economist, they predicted that post-COVID-19, they call it a 90% economy. What does it mean? Essentially, the economy will shrink by 90%. So today, if you're making $1,000 a day, your business, you can expect on average, all of us, to drop to $900, all right? If a salary is $5,000, you're going to drop by 90%. So everything in general, some will lose more, some will lose less. But in general, we're going to experience a 90% economy. That's scary. Now, the other scary part is that there's going to be something called the economic rebalancing. What is it? It's this whole new thing that we're experiencing, all right? What used to be like restaurants, I have 100 people in my restaurant, it's going to be like maybe 20 people and the rest be on delivery. What was commuting and go to office is going to change to more online meetings, so and so forth. So this economic rebalancing, most of the time, economic rebalancing happens when there's a growth market, when disruption comes, people keep growing the market. Yep. This one is shrinking and twisting. Yep. It's shrinking and twisting. It's going to be less and it's going to be different. That is very, very difficult for all of us. Usually it's less and same, okay, you know, we just less. Different means that we may or may not be able to serve the new economy that we're looking at. So with that, I can tell you safely, the new norm will be less and different. So that is for certain. Exactly what it looks like, there are some drivers as well.
10 minutes.
Thank you. So the new norm is essentially normalizing the abnormal. The abnormal that we're experiencing right now, this whole gathering that we have, 100 over people doing a Zoom call, right? Ordering from GrabFood, working from home, watching Netflix all day long. All these things is the abnormal and it's going to be normal. Okay? How will it stay and stick? I'll share a bit more in the next slide. So this is the busiest slide that I have. I don't believe in busy slides. I believe in a slide, a simple slide I can explain. This is the busiest slide that I have. And so the first category, so it's basically transforming what we think is abnormal to new norm. So I introduce the term abnormal to you, right? So abnormal are basically measures that we are experiencing today. Okay? Cannot go to office, you know, cannot go out, cannot do this, cannot do that because of social distancing. It's abnormal, all right? But there are three categories that will kind of shape what way we're going to go. The first one is optionless. No choice. Manufacturing cannot open because COVID-19, stay at home and all those things, no choice, cannot really operate, cannot manufacture. But that's not really an option. When we can go back, we'll go back to a manufacturing plant. All the essential services are optionless. You just have to carry on. So this we only do, this kind of behavior, only the abnormal. Both businesses and also individuals. There are some people who say, you know, I'm waiting to go back here because the company requires a kind of on-site behavior. Construction cannot be done from home, right? Cleaning cannot be done from home. So these are the optionless. The next category is what I call the new doables. Excuse me. The new doables are basically a new choice. Okay, new choice like what we're experiencing now. It's a choice. It's a viable alternative. What are the new doable? The new doable are things that we are experiencing right now that actually has been around for a while. Order in for GrabFood, grocery shopping. We used to order maybe from iHerb, electronics. Now we're ordering vegetables, fruits, meat. Yeah. Online schooling, the home-based learning that is going to implement next week, half home-based and half school. The sort of thing that this is all possible. It's not perfect, but it's a viable alternative. All right. It's doable post-abnormal. Okay. That will come inside that blue circle you can see. Yep. Sorry, the blue and yellow mixed circle, so it's greenish. The next category of things that will drive the whole new norm behavior is what I call the new good, the preferred choice. What are the new good? Some of you have mentioned earlier, all right? Start to have family time, okay? Yesterday's Straits Times article that 9 out of 10 say that they actually don't mind working from home going forward. That's a huge shift, you know, 9 out of 10. If you look at the statistics clearly, 3/4 and 100%, 10% say that they, 15% say they want to work from home permanently, 15%. 35%, 3/4 of them, 35% say 3/4 of the time they want to work at home, which means that 50% now want to work from home on completely or most of the time, all right? Only a small percentage, about 10% say they don't work from home. So 90% are shifting the needle. So things like better family time, work-life balance, can exercise at home, and all these things, we don't travel anymore. We have more time. We save on resources. Air is fresher, sky is bluer. We do self-nurturing, can read, can do all those things. It's just, wow, this is good. The new good is the one that's going to shift a lot because now I may not go back again. I will visit less of this restaurant because I can make a better pizza than the Italian restaurant I'm visiting because it's fun. Family cook together. My daughter's been baking cookies, all right? Never did before. All this is a new good. So with this whole shift, the blue bubble you see there is what I call the yellow bubble is what the business continuity, business as it is, all right? The current business model. The blue bubble are things that's going to shift, okay? This is both in terms of us and another group of people that we need to take note of, right? So I'll show you. Okay, so these are new norm drivers. The economy, the crisis. Yep, I mentioned earlier, 90% economy, deglobalization of trade, debt, unemployment. We talk about the customer, which is last segment, all right? Doables, new is good, the new doables, all right, this whole shift. Less is okay. Now I don't need to, someone's in the interview with Tristan, I don't have to buy more business clothes, office dress, high heels, so and so forth. It's okay, I can do it with less. This I can do it with less, it's a significant impact on our businesses in general. Now, the most important thing is businesses like all of us here. Okay, this is critical because just now I showed you the concept picture, all right, and I showed you the photograph of busy retail shops. It's not that they don't want the customer back. It's because they can't afford another round of pandemic that wiped them completely. So they have to switch. Just like all of us here, we need to think of a way to switch. When we switch, we start to change direction. So I've been having discussion with this bunch of F&B folks about what's the market going forward. I told them that one thing is very clear. The rent is going up, will be going up, rent per footfall, yeah. Of course, the people draw the rent up, but there's no footfall. The manpower is going to be going to be more and more difficult. It's going to be costing more. And also all these food delivery services is going to be against us to win. So people are thinking of, wow, maybe I should just do something first, then my restaurant will get back to normal business again. No, things have to change. Because we can't afford another round of this. It would totally, if the whole second wave is more devastating, it's going to be disastrous for all of us. So what do? They start thinking of new ways of monetizing without being the traditional model. So maybe for a certain amount of money, all right, you can watch live music performances all day long so that the musician get paid. People need to get paid in one shape or another. People will therefore pivot based on the discontinuity they're facing, all right? Business model will change and they just need to be future ready. This shift in the business, which is what we are showing you right now, all right, will cause the whole shift, accelerate the shift with the customer behavior shift. Because it's not possible. One is our preference, right? The other one is business has to change. If not, we can't serve the future when it hit us again. So what do we need to do? Essentially, Clayton Christensen, one of my favorite business guru who just passed away at the beginning of the year, his theory is that just need to know what the jobs to be done. Okay, if you're in the business, you have to know what jobs to be done, which is a theory that he actually came out some years back. Essentially, it needs to be met. What needs to be met? People still need to eat. Is how. People still need to entertain themselves. How. Exercise. How. Work. How. Go to school. How. Education. Yeah. How do they do it now? Needs to be met. Is it going to be the same again? So I'll close with two quotes and then I'll end with a pass on to Jeremy. All right. So Theodore Levitt, for those who may not know him, in 1969, he said this: people don't want to buy a quarter-inch drill. They want a quarter-inch hole. So he said that according to his study, most drills that were bought have a lifetime of 15 minutes usage, right? The rest of the time is in a storeroom. But actually what they wanted is only the hole in the wall to hang their photograph or the picture frame. That's so very important, because what business are you providing? I want to provide the hole that they need on the wall. For whatever reason, it doesn't matter, but right now it's hole. Maybe expand to other things, right? They want a picture frame, whatever, but actually they want the hole in the wall. They don't need a drill. So actually they can rent the drill and return the drill and they're fine. For 2 months, 3 months, 1 year later, they need a drill another time. Don't have to buy. The other is Clayton Christensen, who passed away beginning of the year. He said, when we buy a product, we're essentially hiring something to get the job done, including taking a taxi. All right, what's the job done? Point A to point B. All right, including going for vacation. What is it? Is to give ourselves a rest. Yeah, give ourselves explore new experience. So we hire something to get a job done. So this concept I can't explain more in this talk. It's a very important thinking process for all of us. And so with this, all right, just need to know that the new norm are shaped by a few drivers. How it will turn out depending on how much it sticks with us, the change of behavior, how the businesses are changing, and how the economy is going to respond to the whole situation. This is what I call disruption management, which is my topic, something I do as a consultant. And they also give us a case for what kind of thinking we need to go forward, all right, which is what I call, there are many thinking processes. One of the most important one is what critical thinking is about. So new norm is about making the case for critical thinking, and critical thinking is the new norm, all right? There's no other way to think right now. So with that, I hand the time over to Jeremy.
Right, thank you, Yao Boon. Jeremy, are you there?
Yes. Okay, I will share my screen first.
Yep.
Oh,
I want a gentle reminder to everyone that we will have our open networking in the playground, in the breakout room. Again, this is a new norm. So it's a chance for us to meet people and forget about the fact that you're going to shake hands with new people. Right? You're not going to shake hands with anyone soon. So we can do it online, right? Jeremy,
okay.
sorry.
I'm ready to take over. So my name is Jeremy. I basically manage a small fund. Critical thinking, if I want to talk about it, we can spend 2-3 days. But what today I will do is I just share the fundamental in critical thinking. Actually, critical thinking is not new. Yeah, and what is critical thinking about? It's basically evaluative and reflective thinking based on questioning and enabled by habits of mind to solve problems. You look at it, questioning. Let me ask all of you a question. When did human being, mankind, start to ask questions? Maybe you can just type in the chat. When did human beings start to ask questions? Oh. Yes, since the beginning of time, yes, yes. Humans have learned about asking questions for a long time. In fact, how human being advanced is in ancient time. We are human being asked, this is the first question we asked. In fact, 5,000, 6,000 years ago. What did they ask? They asked about where are the water source? And with that question, human beings start to migrate to place where there are water sources. And once we settle down, the next question came out, how do we bring the water to us? And that actually lead to advance in irrigation technology earlier. And who actually popularized questioning approach is about 2,400 years back, started by Socrates, later by Plato and Aristotle. You can see a lot of ancient people actually ask questions. And why today somehow when people talk about critical thinking, but we hardly ask questions, why? It's because we are all in complacent. So when we are complacent, we hardly ask questions. So what's critical thinking, as I mentioned, is evaluative, reflective thinking based on questioning, enabled by habits of mind. And if you look at critical thinking, there are many critical thinkers these days also. When you look at them, they always ask a lot of questions. And why they ask questions? Because they want to figure out something. They don't want to settle with what I call unknown. They ask questions because they want to bring the unknown to we call known unknown. At least I know what I don't know. And this what I'm sharing here is basically four key elements in critical thinking. Ask question. Once you ask a question, you want to go and gather information, you verify assumption, and finally you can actually draw assumption to make it known to you. And how do you gather information? Again, it's about asking questions. You ask what are the information I need in order to answer my question. Where can I find the information? Who can I ask the information? What kind of question can I ask? When's the best time to ask? So it's about using questions to gather information. And once you get the information, you also want to verify this information, are they just assumption or are they fact? If they are fact, you want to ask, right? What are the evidence that can use to support this information? And if they are just assumption, you want to ask, hey, actually, is it from credible source? And who actually say that? Are they weak? Are they strong? Yeah, before you draw the conclusion. So these are very four simple, the fundamental key element in critical thinking. So critical thinking is all about asking questions and enabled by the habits of mind. Okay, I'm going to show and why are they relevant today? Let me show you a movie clip just to add on to what I won't say.
Jeremy, we got no sound on the video.
Oh, no sound?
Yes.
Yeah, play again. It says the global economy will contract by 3%, with highly developed economies like Canada's shrinking by more than 6%. That's $90 billion.
No, the sound is lost again.
Oh. You go ahead and see the screen. Basically, yeah. Can you hear?
Nope.
No, and it's not clear.
Okay. Okay, can hear very well. Anyway, it's all about the economy. So we may step into 1929. That's what you talk about. And 1929 is the beginning of the World Depression, and it ends in 1940, just before the war break. And unfortunately, the war actually bring the economy back because everything is destroyed. So people, we need new materials and so forth. So the key question here is how can we go through this period of uncertainty and so forth, and then we come back to critical thinking. So what is different between critical thinking and normal thinking? Yeah, you can see this chart on the left-hand side. Usually, when we are in complacency, we apply what I call low-order thinking, and this consists of 3 levels. First thing, we look at information, we memorize it. And secondly, is when you go up the next level, we try to make understanding of the information, and finally try to apply the information. For example, let's say you want to learn how to make spaghetti. We just Google, right? Google, look at a recipe, so we try to memorize it. Then we make sense of how we can make spaghetti. Then we apply by cooking it. So this is what I call the lower order thinking. In fact, it's just habitual, day-to-day habitual thinking. So if we want to move towards the new norms, what do we do? That's what we need the higher order thinking, and that is critical thinking. And critical thinking consists of 3 levels. First is we must ask questions to allow us to analyze, to evaluate, and finally to even create new knowledge out of the whole situation. For example, here, if you look at now we're encountering COVID-19, what causes COVID-19 is a lower order thinking. What are the main changes of business due to COVID-19? This is what I call low order thinking. Because why? You can just Google and find them easily. In fact, you don't have to think about it because a lot of people already analyze for you. So what are the higher order thinking? It's all about asking why and asking how. Example, you can ask about why is COVID-19 a threat to my business? And sometimes they might not be a threat, but can be also opportunity. Why is COVID-19 an opportunity for my business? And why should I be concerned now and not later? So this kind of question actually set you to think and to make the current COVID-19 relevant to your business. But we shouldn't stop here. We want to even go up higher to we call synthesis. That's where lead you to action. Example, how shall we adjust to survive over the next 6 to 9 months? Or how shall we transform for the new norm? So with this COVID-19, what we are going through, and subsequently there may be more to come, we need to learn how to level up our questions to higher order thinking. And secondly, how do we cope with it? We need to cultivate habits of mind. Yeah, in our day-to-day work, in our day-to-day thinking, usually we can be blocked by 3 mental blocks. Social block is how we are being conditioned to think in a certain way. Intellectual block is basically, in the past, we are successful in using some formula, and we believe this formula will continue to work. Yeah, but it might not be now with the changing environment. That's emotional block. I'm sure a lot of us currently, you look at the COVID-19, we are fearful, right? So emotional block is how do you get rid of fear? How do you think objectively? Yeah. So this, if we can cultivate, ourselves to eliminate this block and shift it to what I call habits of mind that will support critical thinking. There are 3 habits of mind which are very important. One is basically humble, being skeptical, being curious. So what are these 3 habits of mind? Being humble means that we recognize we don't hold all the information. And that's why we are a member of this Emerge Stronger community. We share information, we learn from each other. Yeah, all the information are very useful. The key is how do we organize them, how do we analyze them, how do we make sense out of them. Second is being skeptical. In this period, you can see a lot of news being flowed into the internet. So be skeptical of all the news information you see. Yeah, because some of them might be just fake news, some of them just assumptions. So be skeptical, be doubtful about all the news things you see. Example, some people talk about vaccine will be available in the next 2 to 3 months time, but how are we sure? Yeah, so be skeptical about it. Curious means you will continue to pursue, to ask questions, look at new situations, continue to ask questions, and continue to look for information. So these are what I call the habits of mind to support the critical thinking. And out of this habit of mind, the key what we are aiming for is to be open-minded and to be being objective. Yeah, so there's 2 key things we can arm ourselves to basically help us to cope with this current period of uncertainty. Level up our questioning. Second is cultivate the habits of mind. Yeah, so this is the first part. Second part, I want to share with you the case study, learning journey for me in investment with critical thinking, which we actually transform the way we invest over the last few months. What is the challenge in investment? First is COVID-19 exposes business weaknesses. You can see a lot of blue chips, REITs. We can see a vulnerability during this period. And many of them have actually came down quite hard, the share price. And of course, there are a lot of potential problems ahead. Second wave, global conflict, recession, depression, climate changes. There are tons of them. And with climate changes, we might see more and more viruses that come into our space. And of course, there will be the structural changes based on the new tech. It will accelerate. And this will create what I call VUCA. VUCA is basically volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And this will create risk in the investment space. So how do we cope with it? But let me show you one clip. I'll skip this clip. This clip is basically about AI robotic. It's going to be coming very strongly robotic. Sophia is a robot that was created by David Hanson in 2016. It's basically AI robot that can even think, even feel emotion. So it's very interesting. You can go to the internet and watch it. I want to show you the second. Second, about factory automation. This is going to disrupt a lot on the space of food and beverage. Take a look.
中国一家专门生产快餐便当的工厂彻底火了。1千斤大米、500斤蔬菜、肉菜装进工厂，不到1个小时就全部转变成了一盒盒热气腾腾的新鲜饭菜。令人惊讶的是，整个工厂竟然没有一个人在煮饭、炒菜、蒸饭，现场根本看不到这些工人、厨师、服务员。第一个呢就是发挥消毒做午餐具，第二个就是自动炒米煮饭，然后呢就是集体蒸饭。 这些类似这样的无人工厂成本其实非常低，因为无人工厂节省了90%以上的人工成本，只需要支付工厂的租金、水电费，还有就是每月的机器检测和维修费用，他们不需要支付大量的人工费用，自然呢也就不需要额外的管理费用、财务费用，还有就是行政费用。更重要的是，机器是可以24小时工作的，不需要休息，同一天干的活儿基本上是人类的3倍以上。 今年以后，无人工厂也已经开始算是正式走进我们的生活了。我们可以预见，未来3到5年，随着科技的发展，越来越多的行业工厂将会转型成高科技机器人慢慢淘汰。
Sorry, can you hear? Oh, okay. But anyway, can you see this is basically a future factory of the future, and this first factory has already in operation in China. And if you go to Japan, you'll see a lot of factories have very few people, especially those that's making steels, even in shipbuildings. You'll see less and less people in the factory, and that's going to be the future. So where are the future to be? That's why we need to rely on critical thinking to make sense of the future and where to get into. So for investment, this is how I use what I discovered using critical thinking as accelerate learning. Yeah. So you can see a lot of traditional business will be having problems. Example, F&B, retail, transportation, REITs, hospitality, so on and so forth. Yeah. And these are the questions that I ask when I start to want to shift to a new area. Example, I ask what are those sectors that could thrive in the future? Why would those sectors thrive in the future? Where could I find the info? When is the right time to invest? And who can I partner with to succeed? And how can we find specific business in those sectors to invest? And what I discovered during the last 6 months is that, in fact, before COVID happened, we started to do transformation. So in biotech and pharma space, AI, robotic, agrotech, and electric vehicle and space vehicles. So these are areas that is going to be my search. And I discovered that critical thinking actually helped me to learn fast and learn quick in all this space. So I will share with you how we move into biotech space and pharma space today. So this is a question, again, it's a question we ask. How do we transform? I asked quite a few questions, but there's 3 key questions that lead us into changing the business model. How do we ride on new norm? How do we accelerate our learning? How do we minimize our mistake? And from this question, actually, I discovered quite a lot. Yeah, example, in investment, I'm starting to write article to clarify the investment merit. And in fact, I published in a website called nextinsight.net. Yeah, I can go there and see 2 articles I wrote, IPS, risk, and add value. Add value is basically in the space business. And also active debate to see different perspective with partners. But from these 3 questions, the key thing is basically we realize that we have certain competency. And this certain competency allow us to also not just investment, but to join partner with friends, business partners, customers to set up local setup by learning what we learn from the listed companies. At the same time, from the competency, actually we can build our intellectual capital and commercialize it. And where do we find? Again, it's from a series of questions. From a series of questions, I learned about how to learn about biotech business. So you can see on top, newspaper, corporate briefings. I discovered quite a lot of corporate briefing I can attend, investment conferences, investment website, and community to get all the potential candidates. And how do we evaluate biotech business? With that question, allow me to actually figure out what are the investment criteria that successful biotech investor invest. So example can be serious unmet needs and huge market demand, novel drugs with patent protection and pricing power, drug clear phase 2 and demonstrated safety and efficacy, pipeline of other indicators, and also competent management. This become my investment criteria to look at biotech. So where in biotech sector may thrive, so same thing. We look into what is predictable and what's unpredictable. There's some predictable trend in biotech. Example, aging population, increasing pollution, climate change, that will lead to quite a lot of these diseases with increasing number of patients. Example, inflammatory diseases like osteoarthritis, neurological diseases like dementia, immuno-related diseases like cancer. So with that in mind, we start to restructure the whole 2GEM capital into two parts. One part is basically our biotech local startup where we collaborate. Yeah, we have actually collaborated and set up a company called Figo Biotech. At the same time, we start to build up our investment portfolio in certain segments. Okay, this is not for advice to for our advice to you to invest in this company, but rather it's just for education purpose. Example, we do investment in company in area that it has a drug to treat osteoarthritis, and into company that do pain management, in company that come out antibiotic, they will change the whole antibiotic scene in the future, which is broad spectrum, not narrow spectrum. Yeah, at the same time, we start to prepare ourselves to actually use our competency to provide training as well as consultancy. Yeah, this is the company, the local company that we invested. It's called Figo Biotech. It has a product called GNS, and GNS is shown to be able to help people with diabetes. At the same time, a glimpse of the investment that we do, we look at this Paradigm Biopharma. They actually own a repurposed drug, IPPS for unmet needs in osteoarthritis. Why invest in them? Because this is very normal drugs and you cannot find other compatible products in the market. 2 products that were tested earlier by big pharmas, Pfizer and Regeneron, Hanomazid and Fasinoma has failed to clear phase 3. So it left the IPPS the only drug in the market, and that's why we invest in it. So this is a very simple case study of how we use critical thinking to transform ourselves from a traditional investment company into focusing on startup and into LISCO in the space of biotech. Yep. Okay. This is what I have for a quick sharing on critical thinking. If you are keen, you can always talk to me or Yao Bun on critical thinking or disruption management into your business. With that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeremy. You can keep your screen online so that everybody can sort of get your contact details. You can take a screenshot of those of you who want to connect with Jeremy and Yao Bun. They have quite kindly said that they provide 90 minutes consultancy on either critical thinking or disruption management for your businesses, and it's entirely complimentary. And if you are keen on doing a one-on-one discussion with any of them, please go ahead. And I think this is a chance for you to sort of sharpen the saw, so to speak, right? talk through some of the issues that you have and all that. And of course, this is for you to emerge stronger from this whole thing. I wanted to now open the floor, but before we open the floor for Q&A, I just want to remind everyone that we will have a networking session later, and to also join our WhatsApp group, which is in the chat group. I also want to do one more thing before we do our Q&A, because after we do Q&A, everybody, boom, disappear, right? I want to take a group photo, which I forgot at the beginning. So can I sort of, I always forget little things like that, and that feel terrible. Okay, so Jeremy, can you turn off your screen? We are going to try and do a new norm group photo, which we all, if you've been attending Zooms, you know how this works. You'll turn on your camera, right? Now, I'm also going to suggest two things that we're going to do slightly differently so that it makes it more meaningful for our chats. If you notice that some of us, our names are written with our company's details behind them. So I suggest that you right-click your screen and then select your rename and change your name dash the company you are with, so that it's sort of it's a little label, but it helps with the screenshots as well. Later on, people can share and then they see your face and they know. So I hope that everyone turn on your screens and turn on your cameras. Now, from a photo angle, right? Let's not try to have a little head in the photo or your chest only in the photo, right? So get your shoulders in, your head in. Now we all have to adjust ourselves. No more cameraman to tell you turn left, turn right. So you look at yourself. Alan's a good profile. You see him there. He's quite nice. Balance, a little bit of space above his head. His shoulders are there. All right, so everyone, please turn on your screen. And Firas, if you're in the background, I hope you can help me take on the screen. We're going to have to do this 4 times, right? So the first one we will do now, right? So smile. Everyone look up, smile. Okay, right? And then I'm going to do a second time, right? Smile, right? To get a second screenshot. And then we'll do a third one. The reason why we're doing 4 times is because there are 4 pages we have to go through. So turn on your screens. 4, and then a 5th one, a 4th one. Okay, one more, last one, just in case. 5. Firas, are you there? You're good? Okay, so now Q&A. So that you can all now turn off your screens and then go back to hiding behind your your screen. Does anyone have any questions? You can turn off your mic and post, or you can post it onto your onto the Zoom chat for either Yabun or Jeremy.
Glenn?
Yes.
Can I ask?
Yes, SK, please go ahead.
These are very difficult times for startups to raise money. What is your advice?
Oh, this one I think has to go to Jeremy because you're the true gem. Jeremy, all yours.
Currently, I'm also raising fund for one of the startup, and what we do is we try to leverage on people we know to reach out, and especially on our customers. And we do a lot of Zoom meeting. And in fact, every week we almost do 1-2 Zoom meeting. At the same time, we try to do a lot of training for our customer and getting them to understand the product better. Yeah, so this one method is try to reach out to the network and to raise fund. I know it's difficult, especially a lot of people are looking at your business where they see, is it going to survive?
Right.
So industries that you look at, or we should look at?
Sorry, what do you say?
Any specific industries that we all should look at?
Okay, currently I am looking for those businesses that can thrive in the future. So biotech is one, AI, robotic is second, and third, example, EV and space. Like Singapore, in Singapore, there's a company called Add Value. They are into space business. In fact, they're talking to people. There's a company, rocket company in US, bought into their product and bring their product into space. Those are companies that I think people will see this value in the future. And of course, agrotech, agriculture. Singapore is with about 2030, right? Yeah, by 2030, we will have, government is trying to promote, we must have to meet the goal of 30% local production. So this can be another area. And how to get into it, that's why I advocate critical thinking. If you can use critical thinking, it allows you to learn very fast. In fact, I took 1 whole year to learn a lot of business in biotech area. I have interviewed a lot of people, and that's how I pick up the knowledge very fast using critical thinking.
Okay, thank you. We'll take it offline and I will talk to you.
Sure, sure. You can always drop me
Yep.
line.
Okay, does anyone have a question? Anyone else would like to raise, unmute themselves or post in the Zoom chat? Oh, I think very typical Singaporean,
Question from George Kong. Is George Kong there?
George Kong. What's the question?
He wanted to ask Yao Boon a question on whether or not to clarify whether he was speaking about 90%. Because Yao Boon's in Yao Boon's talk there was this thing about the economy moving to 90%. So he wanted to say, was it 90% of the current economy, or it was going to go down to 90% instead?
No, it's 90%. The economy is going to shrink to 90% of before. I sent the link, the article, Economists under the Brands for Good chat. So
do join the group chat. Yao Boon just send the article to the group chat. Yeah.
I honestly speaking,
you asked him about
yeah, like what Jeremy said, right? A lot of information already out there.
Renewable energy.
You know? So the question is, do you get to access this information? But this is the economist's view, and if you read carefully, is valid. Now, before there's a next question, maybe I can also, Mr. Ong, right, on the point where to invest. I'm right now helping a last mile company to raise funds. Yep, very high interest. Why high interest? Because that's the future, last mile. All right. There's not enough last milers at the moment. That's why we were stuck at the moment for all the food delivery. You know, all right. There are not enough. The Grab food and not enough. So all these businesses that has a future, like what Jeremy said, including energy sector that is green. Yep. Anything that's doing blockchain, AI, they will be there for a while. So and all the auxiliary businesses that support this will also try. Yep. So that's the important thing. Auxiliary services that support this will also try. But F&B, you got to wait for someone to come up with a very, very good model, even invest in F&B.
Okay. Does anyone else have another question? Sorry, I'm trying to give time.
Impact of COVID-19.
Okay. I mean, I won't push for it because it's already 3:30.
That's a question.
Oh,
that's
there's
a question. Yeah.
Oh, Michael. Michael, would you like to say hi and ask the question, because Michael's from Thailand. Oh,
hi.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, everyone.
Ask him about renewable energy.
Yeah, because I myself is involved in the renewable energy. Yeah, in Thailand. So I'm wondering, this COVID-19, what will be the impact? I mean, in terms of long-term wise, for this 1 or 2 years time. What opinions from? That's my actually.
Correct. So back to the same question that I showed you just on the slide. This Theodore Levitt said that people don't want the 5-inch drill, right? They want the 5-inch hole. So the business you're in is in energy, right? So you cannot see yourself, I'm a solar farm operator or I own solar farm. Because solar is only one of the energy source, right? And solar has its own complication because of certain countries cannot use solar effectively because just not enough solar, okay? So, and solar also still expensive relatively in terms of the way they store and transmit. So the question I ask myself based on what Jeremy is saying, critical thinking is, okay, now is this situation, all right? What energy will grow? Which energy sector will grow? Very important question to ask yourself, because every single industry is different. Every single sub-industry is different. So actually, you can read all you want on the McKinsey and all those things. Okay, they're all very generic. You look at yourself, how to apply, cannot apply. Because every business is contextual, every industry is contextual, every location is contextual. It can very difficult to replicate, all right? By one model, another model will work. Yeah. So my point to you is that instead of asking the question, what COVID-19's impact on renewable business? Now, green energy is here to stay for sure.
To stay, yes.
Yep, for sure. That's without question. Okay. The oil and gas is going to be so affected by air travel, all right, that the Saudis will better start looking at how to use their money now to fund energy source that will kill their own oil and gas business. Because there's not enough consumption. What can they do? They can control all the prices they want. Nobody want to buy. So if I'm a Saudi operator now, if I'm in a Qatar or Kuwaiti, I gotta take my money now and invest in other energy sources that will safeguard my future. All right, of which oil and gas, oil in particular is not going to be there for a while. All right, because I can tell you, as a very simple question, very logical question. Going forward, if your China customer asks you, would you want to meet? Everybody's very comfortable, just meet on Zoom. Yeah. With air travel, 100% will reduce by a lot, provided airlines still around. So without oil, they're going to suffer. Similarly for you, all right, you're in the renewable business, so focus on green energy business, solar farm or otherwise, that kind of thing. I can't say for sure because solar is a technology that's been around for a while, okay, and it's starting to take off. So quick question is that if you look at electricity, the way Elon Musk is doing his Tesla, all right, anything that can support electrical cars, electrification of cars is the business of the future without question. Solar otherwise.
Okay.
Thank you for the answer.
Thank you. I don't think we have very much time. I think we'll just have one more question. Does anyone have any last questions? If not, then I'm just going to sort of remind everyone to join our WhatsApp chat before you go. The links are posted by Trina, and I think Trina, can you help me post it one more time? I know you've been doing it. Thank you very much for all your hard work of posting it in the background. For those of you who have not joined our WhatsApp chat, please do join that, and that's where we'll probably distribute Yao Bun's materials and Jeremy's slides as well. And their contact information will also be posted there so that you guys can sort of get in touch with them. Both of them are also on the chat, and you can use that as a way to connect. Connectivity now with digital means you can connect across borders. Businesses, we should not be working just within Singapore. We are an ASEAN community. I noticed we had a Thailand guest earlier on who asked the question. I know we've got our Malaysian friends here, and I do know that we have some of our Cambodian friends as well who joined us last week. So thank you all for being with us. We will go into our networking rooms. There will be 3 breakout rooms, so we are now left down to 60 over people, so we expect about 20 per room. Do stay around and as my team puts up the breakout rooms and put you in